Hi there, now we can move on to the palace, where hopefully Joseph will finally meet his childhood mentor, Iago. Now this move here, you see, is called Bless, and that will reduce physical damage to whoever it's cast on. And this spell here is Regenerate, which will solely regenerate health. Very useful buffering spells, which you should use if you're expecting to go into a rather difficult battle, which I am. Now this is the really fancy part of the sewers, I must say. You could almost drink that water. I wouldn't, but at least it's blue. Mini boss time, and apparently this palace is built over Cthulhu's lair. Because here we are, we're just walking around, then holy shit, tentacles. I must say, this is positively Lovecraftian. Oh, and by the way, these sort of creatures that live here, not really explained. I guess is this a common thing for a palace set in a fantasy-based city or whatever? You know, should you just expect there to be lots of creatures lurking in the darkness? I suppose so. Now this can be a rather difficult fight. You're fighting these two golems here, as well as this sort of larger golem, who is very physically strong. And you also have these tentacles who whip you every so often from the sidelines. And you can see here, Fleece really can't take that many hits at this point, so I am very keen to keep it out of harm's way. And this can be an awkward point, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm Joseph, I need to attack these creatures, I need to cast fire spells, because that's my best attack, and I also need to heal Fleece every so often. Now when it comes to this, this group of enemies, by themselves, each one isn't really a problem. Which is why I'm desperately trying to heal, and also take down one of these enemies as quickly as I can. I do like the music. It's sort of the boss theme, and it's also the main theme of the game, I think. Hopefully, I suppose you can't pick it up over my commentary, but it's quite good. And speaking of which, the music in this game, I would say I do like it. I can't remember many of the tracks, but oh, Vitalize. I just wanted to point out this spell here. Now this heals your whole party, not entirely, but that one move is very, very useful in this game. But like I was saying about the music, there's not many tracks I can remember, but I do remember it doing the job. Like, if an area needs to sound mysterious, it does. If an area needs to sound intimidating, it does. So, it's very good mood pieces. Like, there's no main theme, but the ambient stuff is good, I would say. And yes, with with these two lackeys lying dead on the ground, we can now take on this guy. A more powerful guy. Now, I think these golems, they're weak against fire, blunt, and energy attacks, which is what they call lightning. Unfortunately, I have like this fiery sword, which is, you can see it's only doing 2 damage at a strike. But hey, at least this does show off how useful the fiery falcon sword is. Oh, and don't worry, you do not have to take on the tentacles. They'll just disappear once you complete the boss fight here. Now, something I noticed with the enemies is that they tend to attack whatever character you're controlling. So I guess you could use a tactic where you run in with the fighter, get them to attack the fighter, and then you switch to the spellcaster and finish them off. Which is a tactic I would recommend. But at this point, I'm happy for him to keep attacking Joseph, because Fleece is obviously the sort of the weaker member here. But don't worry, she has other skills, which we're about to see momentarily. And of course, look, Cthulhu's tentacles retreat back into non-Euclidean space. This item here is a blunt weapon, a frozen club, which could have been useful against those mechs, but oh well. And as we enter this elevator section here, we've completed the aqueducts, or the sewers, we've properly finished the sewers, and now we're on to the palace. And if you've played Ocarina of Time, this section should feel quite familiar to you. Okay, straight away as we enter, we are given a side quest from Fleet this time, which is kind of rare to get a side quest from a character, but anyway, it's the Amulet of Prince Yon, a young prince who sadly met with a tragic accident, wink wink, and we're going to honour his memory by stealing one of his prized possessions. But speaking of the royal family, that's something we'll learn about later on, is that currently we have a king and a queen, but no heirs to the throne. There were 4 sons which have been mentioned, but each one died in a separate tragic accident. Yeah, you don't have to be Quincy to guess what that means. Oh, by the way, did I mention there's like a sort of a villainous looking brother? Yeah, there is. And he also wants the throne. Yeah. So essentially, if you've seen Lion King, you should be familiar with the plot. Because we have our Mufasa, we have a Scar, but do we have our Simba? Which one of these characters would be our Simba? We don't know. Now this stealth section here is, well, you can see here I'm just sort of hiding in the rooms as I go along, trying to keep out of the guard's sight. Now what's really good about this part is that if you fail this side quest, you get given some servant clothes, and you can just walk by anyway. You pose, they think you're a servant, and they give you a uniform, and that's something I give them props to. They give you a stealth section, but it's like, if you can't really do it, forget it. Oh, and don't worry about stealth as well if you're not good at it, because it barely comes up in this game. There is another section where stealth would be beneficial, but even then, you could probably fight in that section as well. But really, this part is the most stealthful the game gets. And I did say before, and whenever I got caught, I would just reload, because I wanted to complete this. Because the first time I played this game, I couldn't complete it. So I got caught like 3 times, and I just thought, forget it. I'll put on the servant's uniform, pose as a servant, and just walk through. But no, I wanted to complete the stealth section. But anyway, to be honest, this is a little harder than sticking it at Hyrule Castle. And it probably doesn't help the camera angle is sometimes blocked by all these walls. But fortunately you do have a map. And another good feature is that whenever your camera goes behind a wall, the wall turns transparent, so you can see through it. There's a sort of name for this. I've mainly seen it in platformers, where in those games the camera angle is very important. But anyway, it's a little touch, but it's nice to be able to see where you're going, at least. Anyway, with that section done, we're now in the more fancier part of the palace. Yep, better save here. Now, when it comes to this section, there is actually a benefit for being stealthy, because there's quite a few hidden items around, like 50 gold or amethyst, precious gems. And what I find amusing is that if you talk to that lady, she's like, "Oh, how did one of the servants get in this room? Get out." But she doesn't actually do anything, so luckily that doesn't count as being caught. Now, fortunately, the enemy AI in this game isn't too good, but then again, I don't want it to be too good, because otherwise I won't be able to complete it. And oh, and here's one of the items I was talking about. A sort of 1,000 gold here. Nice. That's actually quite a lot for this point in the game. Well, only at the end you're pretty much dealing with sums of money, about 100,000 gold. Oh, and cutscene time.
I am the king of Medivh. Show yourself, intruder, or I will summon the guard.
Oh, watch out! We have a real
How
summoner.
Is it you don't recognize me, Bellius?
By the blood of Urath.
By the wings of
I am
Vectron.
haunted by ghosts.
Hunted by the living, your majesty.
Why have you come?
You know, the
What
guy
do
who
you
voices
want
the
from
king
me?
here, he has a
come
very
only
familiar
to
voice.
whisper in your ear.
Impossible. This cannot be true.
I have journeyed too far to lie to you.
Enough! You are nothing but a ghost, a phantom. You have said your piece. Now go.
You have aged, Bellius. You are now an old man. Our paths have crossed for the last time.
She doesn't know how right she is.
No, it cannot be.
Okay, so we have a mysterious woman who has a secret conversation with the king. That will come into play later. But you do need to see that cutscene because we need Yargo's key. And we see the king there, but unfortunately we can't go in and talk to him. But anyway, we could go visit Yargo now, but I just want to get the amulet to complete this side quest. Hopefully I can just get by here. You know, something I am thankful for is that there aren't any security cameras in this era.
Flat.
Oh, and I'm surprised I didn't bring this up before, but you need to level up her lockpick ability. I'm not sure how far, but I got mine to 5 and that seemed to work. But anyway, we find a Yon's amulet here. And you can see in the description the prince fell from the terror of Verdun. Amethyst, again, quite nice. See, it's okay to steal when you're the RPG hero. Oh, I just have to close the door here because I think the door, whether the door's open counts. Makes a difference if they can see you or not. These wonderful purple guards. Well, you know, I make fun of them for wearing purple. I guess in the medieval age, purple was the sign of royalty, so... maybe I'm the one that's a fool. Who knows? Anyway, and in this section here we find Yargo. Oh, and sometimes you come across a door which can't be lockpicked. There are doors which you need the key for. So, unfortunately, her skill can't be used for sequence breaking.
I am a clever one.
Yes, you are, Fleece. Yes, you are.
And so the guards were dispatched to find Joseph in the cellar of the palace. And meanwhile, Fleece and I proceeded to the Great Hall to wait for Joseph. There the king's vassals were gathering for the war council. At last, my protege and I were reunited.
We found this lad in the cellar.
That will be all. Well, Joseph, truly the forces of destiny are at work. I feared you wouldn't come.